from the referee, Kevin McDonald, for Ozdemir to get out of there.
But he can.
And that is it. Daniel Cormier defends in style tonight.
Not worthy enough. I love it. It fuels me. This guy's a phenom. He's one in a million. Blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? He lost.
You made history tonight, Stipe. You became the first.
I'm in the conversation for the greatest.
How's it going, everybody? AZPlow21 back with another pay-per-view here in our UFC save, and this time it's UFC 251 MIOCIC versus Cormier 3. Glad that you guys can join me once again, whether it's on Twitch or whether it's on YouTube. This is our third pay-per-view now in this save. I'm very excited for it. So let's go ahead and get right down into it. Glad you guys are able to join me. Let's go ahead and get right into it. First, let's go ahead and take a look at our emails. Alir Latifi extends his deal. Lena Landsberg extends her deal. And we have a new guy, Nikolai Alexakin, I think is how you pronounce it. But he's got quite a not undefeated streak, but quite a little winning streak going on. He was a part of PFL for a little bit, but now we were able to get our hands on him. Nice to see that. All right. A couple other promotions having fights tonight. EFC, AFC, and King of the Cage. Take a look, see if there's anyone worth looking at as far as signing. Doesn't necessarily look like it. Magomed Karamov has signed an extension. No, doesn't necessarily look like anyone that we'd be interested in. Of course, the last time that I saw you guys would have been... Oh, wow, a lot of fight cards going on. But the last time I saw you guys was for Figueiredo versus Benavidez. And on that episode, Joseph Benavidez finally won the flyweight championship via TKO in round number 3. Congratulations to him. But today it's all about UFC 251 MIOCIC versus Cormier. Take a look at the main card. Everyone go ahead and pause and give your comments, give your predictions down in the comments section or in the chat if you're here on Twitch. Who do you guys think is going to win on the main card? We've got Nick Diaz taking on Yoel Romero. We've got Dominic Reyes taking on Anthony Smith. We've got Robert Whittaker taking on Jared Cannonier in the middleweight division. Both of these, actually all 3 of these fights, Colby Covington and GSP, are more than likely going to be title eliminators. So that's very important for the future of 3 divisions, really. And then, of course, in the main event, Stipe Miocic taking on Daniel Cormier, perhaps my second favorite fighter of all time behind Jon Jones. All right, so it looks like we're all done here. Let's go ahead and make sure that we have our broadcast teams all set up. Broadcast team, and now we're going to have our A team on this one. So we got John Anik, and we've got Joe Rogan, and then let's see, who else do we want on here? If I put none, it says 33 experience, because if I do Kenny Florian, it says none. I don't know. See, I'm not 100% sure. I think I'm actually gonna hold off on Kenny Florian or anyone like that, just because I think we're actually gonna be better off just by having Rogan and Anik doing their thing. Because ideally I would want DC to be the third guy, but he's actually fighting on the card. Obviously, it might actually be Daniel's last fight. Yeah, we talked to him and a lot of the older guys in the last episode about their retirement and things like that. And they said that a lot of them are only 1 or 2 fights away from retiring. So that sucks because a lot of them are really popular and we could really use them. But, I mean, if DC retires, it is what it is. We can just sign him up as a commentator or try to talk him out of retirement, But we're going to go ahead and just run with Anik and Rogan. We'll just say that DC was supposed to be there, but he's obviously fighting. And it'll give us a little bit of a boost as far as the popularity. All right, so let's go ahead. Just make sure that all of our broadcasters are on there. Only on pay-per-view. Not doing any TV for that. Okay. Don't necessarily need to do anything here. What video capture are you using? I'm just straight up using Streamlabs OBS. I'm using Streamlabs OBS and I'm doing the the window capture thing, so that way I can capture the game as it's going on. Other than that, I just kind of switch through Streamlabs, like for the intros and things like that. I just kind of use it as I need to. All right, so the broadcast team is set up. That's great. Experience as a unit. That's really good. All right, cool. So it looks like we are all ready to go, you guys. Once again, this is the main card. Prelims are stacked as always for pay-per-view cards. So let's go ahead and get this going. UFC 251, Miocic versus Cormier 3. In New York State. As we get things going, of course, with our prelims. First prelim of the night is Sajara Sarge Eubanks taking on Sarah Cheesecake Morris. And what mod am I using? The one that I'm using right now is outdated. So I've been thinking about actually like updating, or not updating, but uploading a video where I go over the mod and I go over how to install the game or buy the game. Because a lot of people don't know like where to go to actually like buy the game. and to how to find the mod and download it and get the picture packs, things like that. So I'll probably go over all of that in a video, but the mod that I'm using is the Modern Warriors mod, and it's like the 4th edition of it. But the thing is, in the Grey Dog software forums, it's like super deep in the forums. You kind of have to like go out of your way to try to find it. But they are there, I promise. And this is updated as of April 1st. All right, so our first prelim of the night, Eubanks versus Morris. Morris is the favorite fighter at 6-5, 4-4. Sijara Eubanks. If Eubanks loses, because I think she already lost in this save. Yeah, or no, she hasn't actually. But we're probably going to end up sending the loser, whoever it ends up being, down to Invicta, just to get a little bit more seasoning, you know, a little more fight experience under their belt. And it's Sarah Cheesecake Morris who comes out on top via armbar in round number 2. So good for her. We're going to send Eubanks down to Invicta so she can get a little bit more experience under her belt. And she gives a little bit of respect. Up next in the featherweight division, it's Julio Arce taking on Suman Mokhtarian. 8-2 Mokhtarian taking on 16-4 Julio Arce. Mokhtarian taller by 3 inches. 8-2 only. A little bit more experience on Arce's side. And despite him being the underdog, I'm going to go for Arce here. First fight for either of these guys, as Mokhtarian actually wins via unanimous decision. It was apparently a great fight. You love to see that. Let's see what Mokhtarian has to say. And he would like to fight Martin Bushkamp next. So very interesting. 9-2 now is Mokhtarian. Up next, we have Lyman Good, New York boy, taking on Peter Sabata out of Germany. And Lyman Good is favored at 21-5-1. Peter Sabata is 17-6-1. Both 6 feet tall, both, of course, welterweights. Lyman Good, 2 years older. I'm going to go ahead and go for the hometown boy here. Maybe getting a little bit more, enthusiastic fighting in his hometown as he wins via TKO in round number 3. A decent fight, but a good result there for Lyman Good. And he's inviting everyone to go party with him. Like to see that. Next up, we have Jared Flash Gordon taking on Matt the Steamroller Fravola. A couple of New York boys, as a matter of fact. 8-1-1 is Fravola. 15-4 is Jared Flash Gordon. Mixed martial arts versus mixed martial arts. Huntington versus Queens. Both are 5-9. It's really a pick'em as far as this one goes. I'm going to go ahead and go for Jared Flash Gordon in this one, though. A little bit more experience. I kind of tend to lean towards the guy with more experience in situations like this, and it does prove right. Jared Flash Gordon wins via TKO in round number 2. All right, doesn't call anybody out, just has a little bit of respect for Matt Fravola. Nice to see that. All right, next we have a tournament matchup. Of course, we have a featherweight tournament going on in the women's division, an 8-woman tournament, and whoever wins the tournament is the number 1 contender. And the reason that I'm doing that is just so I can give a little bit more time for the featherweight division to figure itself out. The winner of that tournament will probably be very popular, and then Amanda Nunes has some time to defend her bantamweight championship if she wants to. So it's Leah Letson taking on Alexis Sneaky Zebra Dufresne. A very even fight, apparently. 6-3 Dufresne taking on 5-1 Letson. It looks like Dufresne is the favored fighter, taller by 2 inches as well. And it's actually Leah Letson who comes out on top via knockout. 58 seconds into round number 3. It was a good fight. Let's see what Letson has to say, the Wisconsin-born. And she just gives a show of respect. So she moves on in this tournament. We'll take a look at that after the card is over to see who else is progressed. I know we have 2 more fights in those quarterfinals, and then we have the semifinals to book later on. Up next, Andre Harrison, formerly of PFL, taking on Sergio Giglio. 21-2-1, heavily favored in this contest as well against Sergio Giglio, 23 years of age from Peru, undefeated at 12-0. I'm going to take Andre Harrison in this one, but you never know. The undefeated fighter might just keep his streak going, as it's actually Sergio Giglio who comes out on top, keeping his undefeated streak going, undefeated at 13-0 now. This was his first fight in the UFC, too, unknown to the American audience, and he's definitely going to be known now, especially after submission like that in round number 1. Andre Harrison, that's a tough way to make your debut. And he would like to face Michael Tobin next, which is another guy that made his debut recently and won in impressive fashion. So very good for Sergio Giglio. Up next in the bantamweight division, we have Brian Boom Kelleher taking on Alejandro El Diablito Perez. All right, heavily favored is Kelleher. Perez 21-8-1. Brian Kelleher 20-10. Take a look at what Kelleher has done recently. At the McGregor-Cerrone fight, he actually got a win over Odie Osborne. And Perez, his last fight out was against Yadong Song at 239, Jones versus Santos, that he lost on a little bit of a losing streak. Let's see what he can get going here. I think Kelleher is going to take it, and he does via Darce choke in round number 1. The 33-year-old Kelleher gets his 21st win of his career. Congratulations to him. Up next, we have Kron Gracie, the jiu-jitsu master, coming off his loss over Cub Swanson, taking on Dynamite Dan Ige, who actually fought on yesterday. He fought yesterday, and he won against Edson Barbosa. So congratulations to Dan Ige. Great fight yesterday, able to get the decision win, but now faces off against Kron Gracie, who's favored against him, the jiu-jitsu master. Gracie, of course, coming off the loss to Swanson. Ige, in this game, I believe, is coming off a win to Mirsad Bektic, yeah. So, a very good win for him. I'm going to go ahead and take Ige in this one, actually, maybe by unanimous decision, as Kron Gracie beats him in the first round via submission, a leg lock win for Kron Gracie. And that's good for him because he beat Bektic. So I wonder if Kron Gracie is going to be ranked now. Nothing really to say, just thanks his team from Cesar Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. Up next is EZDS, Eliseu Zaleski dos Santos, taking on Platinum Mike Perry. I actually saw Mike Perry get knocked out by Jeff Neal in his last fight, but he's heavily favored against EZDS here. If I'm going to guess, I'm going to probably take Mike Perry via knockout. Otherwise, EZDS by decision. And Mike Perry wins via submission, interestingly enough. 246 into round number 1, rated as a great fight. He was heavily favored, and he ended up getting the win anyways. And he would like to fight Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. And that's interesting. Maybe we make that fight. This was a solid performance from a very marketable fighter. You never know. I mean, maybe Wonderboy Thompson would be up for that fight. Because, you know, Mike Perry is kind of an instigator, so he's going to be really getting underneath Wonderboy's skin. And it's such an odd pairing, too, because they're both super different as far as personalities. Like, Wonderboy is the most lovely guy of all time. And then you have Mike Perry, who's a little toxic. So that could be an interesting fight to make. And then our final prelim for UFC 251, Gregor the Gift Gillespie taking on the Texecutioner James Vick. James Vick, of course, coming off that loss, the knockout loss to Nico Price on a 4-fight losing streak that all started with that Justin Gaethje loss. All right, number 12, I think it said, in the lightweight division. And then Gregor Gillespie is coming off that loss to Kevin Lee in game. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Gillespie in this one. He's heavily favored, and I think he's just going to come out on top. And he does win via submission, rear naked choke in round number 3. So a good result there for Gregor Gillespie. You're doing Perry versus Jorge Masvidal right now. I think Masvidal would win that rather easily. Gillespie says it was a tough fight and gives a show of respect to James Vick. Very nice to see. All right, so our main card has started up. You know, all the pomp and circumstance. Everyone's paid $60 for the pay-per-view. And our first main card fight is Nick Diaz taking on Yoel Romero in the middleweight division. What do you guys think is going to happen? Do you have Nick Diaz after such a long layoff? I think his last fight was in like 2015, 2014 against Anderson Silva. Or is Yoel Romero going to get back into his winning ways after, I think, 3 straight losses now? Wow, yeah, like 3 or 4 straight losses for Romero. Is he going to get back on the win column, or is Nick Diaz going to make a triumphant return? Let's go ahead and check it out. Nate. Gluttony picks Nate. Yoel Romero is heavily favored, though, and a lot of that's probably just got to do with the fact that he's been active. All right, let's go ahead and see what happens. Yoel Romero, 41 years of age, no spring chicken, but he does get it done via knockout. Round number 2, Yoel Romero back in the win column after 2.5 minutes in round number 2. Does he call anybody out here? Yeah, he had Nate, but it's Nick. All right, showing respect, Yoel Romero praises Diaz for his skill and toughness. All right, so Yoel Romero gets a win back. Dominic Reyes now in what should be a title eliminator. taking on Anthony Lionheart Smith. Now, of course, Dominic in real life coming off the loss to John Jones, a fight that a lot of people thought that he won. I actually watched that fight at Buffalo Wild Wings with a couple of friends, and I thought that Reyes won. I thought Reyes won that fight. I thought he won the title. I was very surprised to learn that Jones retained. I mean, I was happy, but I was still kind of surprised. And then in real life, Anthony Lionheart Smith loses to Jones, beats Gustafsson, and ends up losing rather terribly to Glover Teixeira on Wednesday. It was not a good look. Or was it Wednesday? Actually, it might have been Saturday. No, it was Wednesday. Yeah, Anthony Lionheart Smith lost to Glover Teixeira on Wednesday. But now, in-game, facing off against Reyes for a chance to fight John Jones once again. All right, so Reyes favored by a little bit. Smith minus 110, Reyes minus 150. I think Reyes is going to take this one. And he does via knockout in round number 2. Rated as a good fight. Reyes comes out on top. And he is going to be John Jones' next opponent after Jan Blachowicz. Should John win? If Reyes wins and Blachowicz wins, that's our title fight. I mean, it's got to happen. Up next, another title eliminator, Robert the Reaper Whittaker taking on Jared the Killer Gorilla Cannonier. I'm a big fan of Jared Cannonier. Very soft-spoken guy, but I've always kind of been a fan of his. Seems like a really nice dude. He has those, he talks about crystals that give him power and stuff like that. Beat Anderson Silva in Brazil and then kind of got really disrespected by the crowd after he won. And so he kind of really just didn't say anything, but you could tell he was super pissed. And then Robert Whittaker, of course, coming off the loss to Israel Adesanya, losing his middleweight title. But should he win this one, he's going to get right back into the thick of things and go for the middleweight title once again. Who do you guys think is going to win, Robert or Jared Cannonier? Whittaker is the favorite, but no fight team for Whittaker. And Cannonier plus 150, fighting out of Alaska, apparently. All right. And Robert the Reaper Whittaker wins via knockout in round number 1. So Robert Whittaker fighting for the middleweight title once again. Awesome. So Whittaker gets it done, and he's happy that he was able to win it via knockout. All right. Now it's time for our co-main event of the evening. Colby Chaos Covington taking on a returning legend and someone who is going into the UFC Hall of Fame rather soon in Georges St. Pierre. It was announced, I think, on either Wednesday or UFC 249, but GSP is going into the Hall of Fame. And, I mean, he comes right back into the thick of things and takes on Colby Chaos Covington in what is probably a title eliminator. Colby, of course, coming off the loss to Kamaru Usman in the title fight that I actually attended live. And GSP is favored, interestingly. Chaos 15-2, GSP 26-2. Last fight, of course, was GSP taking on Michael Bisping for the middleweight title. He won it, and then he left. I'm going to take GSP here. He's only 39 years old. I'd imagine he's a lot more skilled than Chaos Covington. And, I mean, GSP versus Usman would be very interesting. But also, so would GSP versus Habib. So, I mean, you never know. GSP versus Habib is a fight that I might look at doing down the line. And George Rush St. Pierre defeats Colby Covington via unanimous decision in, unfortunately, a poor rated bout. So it was probably not the most exciting. I'd imagine that Colby tried to wrestle a little bit more, but GSP gets it done. And a triumphant return to the octagon. Oof. He makes an apology to the crowd for making them sit through such a bad bout, promising to try and put on a better fight next time around. So GSP not putting on the most exciting fight, but he gets it done via unanimous decision. As we now head into our main event of the evening, the third edition of Stipe Miocic and Daniel D.C. Cormier. All right. Of course, Miocic and Cormier have already met up twice. Cormier taking the first one, Miocic taking the second. This is now the third fight between the two of these fighters. And, I mean, personally, DC is my boy. He's my second favorite fighter of all time. Miocic, I think, is a great fighter, but I have to pull for my boy DC here. So let's go ahead and see what happens. The main event of the evening, and it is for the UFC Heavyweight Championship of the world. Let's get started. Mario MIOCIC is the referee. Uh-oh. Pre-fight stare down. They touch gloves. Cormier wanting to grapple right away. Gets him into the clinch. A big slam. Ends up in slam control. Arm triangle immediately. Cormier still in side control, trying to control on MIOCIC. A very different approach to the first two fights where DC was almost getting mount. All right, they scramble and they're back up. He gets it now. MIOCIC is in trouble. A knee strike. Uh-oh. Oh, knockout! Daniel Cormier wins the UFC Heavyweight Championship. Oh, wow. So what happened there? Final 60 seconds of round one. Cormier gets a knee strike but doesn't connect, but MIOCIC isn't able to get free of the clinch. Using the clinch, another elbow knockout for Daniel Cormier, the exact same way that it happened in the first fight. So from the clinch, Cormier hits a brutal elbow to the face. MIOCIC crumbles to the ground out cold. That is exactly how the first fight went. I'm excited. DC is the heavyweight champion once again. MIOCIC unfortunately loses his title. What's next for MIOCIC? He's going to have to find his way back up the rankings, and as long as DC is champion now, he cannot fight for the title. It sucks, but they've already had their trilogy. DC's won twice, so they can't fight again for the title. It's not going to happen. So as long as DC's champion, MIOCIC can't fight for the title. So it's going to be interesting to see what we do with MIOCIC next. But DC's the champion once again. However, there is a chance right now that Cormier retires as champion. There is that possibility, which would suck, but it would mean he goes out as champion. So let's go ahead and see what happens here. Bruce Buffer announces it. Ladies and gentlemen, referee Mario MIOCIC has called a stop to this contest at 4 minutes 38 seconds of round number one, declaring the winner by knockout and new undisputed UFC heavyweight champion of the world, Daniel DC Cormier. Good for him. Now let's see what Cormier says. Okay. He just says that winning the UFC heavyweight title is unbelievable and is a great moment in his career. So he does not retire. So Cormier is still going to go strong. I'd imagine he has one more fight left in him. But that means... Uh-oh. That means that facing up against him next is Francis Ngannou. That is the next fight to make, you guys. And that fight might happen in real life if Stipe can't find a date to fight for the heavyweight title. So DC versus Ngannou is next on the table here in our save. That is going to be very interesting. All right. And then at the welterweight division, GSP is now the number one contender for the welterweight championship once again. All right. Interesting. So now UFC 251 is over. Attendance of 12,000 in New York. It made $2.6 million at the gate. Critical rating of 67, not the best. Commercial rating, though, of 100%. And this made a little bit more money on pay-per-view. $1.19 million of pay-per-view. I would still really like to see that number go way, way, way up. But our popularity probably went up by a little bit because the commercial rating was so good and because the card had so many good names on it. I'd imagine our popularity went up by quite a bit. Let's go ahead and see. Yes! So, popularity increased by 3 in the United States. That means we're low-level international now. That's awesome. So, what that means, unfortunately, is that cards in the U.S. are going to need to be way bigger cards and have way bigger names on them for them to be seen as adequate fight cards. But if we go to international, countries a lot more now, we can get away with putting on some weaker cards. Not that we're necessarily going to want to put on weaker cards, but we can get away with it now. However, we can now sign up ABC as a broadcaster so we can put on better shows and have them shown to more of an audience so we can get a lot more money as far as ads and subs and things like that. So our popularity increased basically everywhere that we had the pay-per-view. Obviously not in Asia, not in Russia, not in Central America, because we didn't have any pay-per-view providers there. All right, so let's go ahead and see what we want Fight of the Night to be. Not a great night of fights. Of course, the critical rating wasn't the greatest. So let's go ahead and take off these. Sure, it's going to be a prelim fight, unfortunately. Fight of the Night's going to go to Suman Mokhtarian and Julio Arce because it went the distance and it was a great fight. So go ahead and give that to them. Now, Performance of the Night bonuses. Let's see here. Anyone in like super early time? Submission for Mike Perry. Submissions. A lot of submissions on this card. Let's give one to Sergio Giglio for beating Andre Harrison. And then Mike Perry for winning via submission against EZDS, because I did not see that coming. Okay. And we did, unfortunately, lose $1.2 million on this card. That sucks. Big reason for that, Daniel Cormier and Stipe Miocic both making over $1 million. GSP made $800,000. Yoel Romero made $330,000. Colby made $300,000, and that's just his base pay. Okay. We paid $5 million out to fighters on this card. Oof. So that's where I can't believe the GSP fight was a 4-1. Well, I think the thing with that is both him and Colby Covington have a wrestling base. So I'd imagine they try to just wrestle for the entire fight, which I don't think would happen in a GSP fight. But it is what it is. Sometimes it happens. But he's next in line for the Usman fight. He'll be fighting for the welterweight title next. We lose $1 million on this pay-per-view, but I see it as a win because our popularity goes up. We're now low-level international, which means that more people are going to watch our show. So obviously our popularity is only going to get bigger through that. And now let's go. We're going to go ahead and do it right now. We're going to go ahead and start negotiations with ABC, update our rankings, and then we're going to talk about what we want to do as far as booking wise for the next month that we schedule here. Because I can't think exactly right now about the title fights that are available to be booked, but I think Volkanovski versus Holloway is going to be the one. But as far as like the other fighters that we have available, I'm not 100% sure about. So that's going to be interesting because now we can probably go to a lot more international countries and have fights just because the main events aren't going to need to be as popular there in order for them to be considered main events. Because in the USA, it's going to be a lot harder to put on cards because the cards are going to need to be stacked now that we're low-level international. But only good things to come out of this save, and I'm happy that you guys are here and joining me for it. So once again, we'll take a look at our emails, see who we need to re-sign, see if we want to cut anybody. I doubt we really need to cut anybody. But Daniel DC Cormier getting back the heavyweight championship, and now he's going to have to face off against Francis Ngannou. That is interesting. I'm looking right now at my Ngannou versus Velasquez poster, and Ngannou in real life is coming off that knockout of Rosenstrike. Just decimated him like 30 seconds into the first round. Ngannou versus Velasquez was quick. Was a very quick fight. Just like this heavyweight fight was, to be honest. I mean, Cormier won with like a minute left to go in the first round. The last fight went to the fourth. And I'm not sure what the first fight went to, but it ended literally the exact same way that first title fight went. Like, that elbow in the clinch. That's how he won. Ridiculous. Once again, guys, I do thank you guys for joining me, whether on Twitch or whether you are watching on YouTube. Our next pay-per-view is very interesting, to say the least, because it's only in 2 weeks in game. Because our next pay-per-view is going to be Conor McGregor versus Justin Gaethje. That is going to be very interesting, and I can't wait for it. That's going to be wild, because that's the UK card. Also on that card is Darren Till. He's fighting Jacare Sosa. We have 2 pay-per-views in the next month. It's McGregor versus Gaethje, and then on that card, Valentina Shevchenko is defending her title against Joanne Calderwood. And then at the end of that month, I want to say... Why can't I remember it right now? It's not Jones versus Blachowicz. I can't remember it right now. But anyways, here we are at the front page. So let's go ahead and update the rankings first and foremost. And boom. Here we go. DC, the number 1 guy at heavyweight. Stipe goes all the way down to number 7. How long is Stipe out for? For 6 months. Wow. So Stipe's gone for 6 months. What about DC? Hopefully he's not out for a long time. 20 days. Awesome. Awesome. How long is Ngannou out for? 6 days. Woo! That means we could potentially book the DC Ngannou fight for the next pay-per-view that we have going. Curtis Blades is ready to be booked up. Like to see that. All right. Stipe down to number 7. John Jones, of course, number 1. Dominic Reyes moves up to that number 1 contender spot, as he will be fighting John Jones next, or whoever's the light heavyweight champion, I should say. Jan down to number 4, but he's fighting for the title next. Anybody else? Anthony Smith moves down to number 9. At middleweight, Yoel Romero moves up to number 4. Cannonier moves all the way down to number 12. Yikes. GSP, the number 1 contender in the welterweight division, he will be fighting for the championship next. Woodley goes down a spot. Woodley's going to go down quite a bit because he's out for a year. So by the end of the year, he might be all the way down here in like 13 or something. Mike Perry moves up to 15. He wants to fight Wonder Boy, who's below him. So that might actually be a fight we look to make. And then Easy DS moves down to number 20. Colby Covington down to number 6. How long is Colby Covington out for? 20 days. That's not too bad. All right, at lightweight, Gregor Gillespie moves all the way up to number 8. Charles Oliveira moves down. James Vick now number 18. Featherweight, Kron Gracie goes to number 19. He debuts at number 19. And then Dan Ige goes all the way down to number 25. Bantamweight, Brian Kelleher debuts, and a couple of guys move up. Flyweight, there is no movement. Women's featherweight, Leah Letson moves up to number 3. She is in the semifinals. Women's bantamweight, Sarah Morris moves up. Sajara Eubanks, we have to send down to Invicta. She goes down to 17, but we are going to send her down. Women's flyweight, no movement. Women's strawweight, no movement. So let's go ahead and take care of Eubanks. We're going to send her to Invicta. All right. And let's take a look at our emails. UFC has risen up to low-level international. Congratulations. And only one that needs to be re-signed is Jared Gordon. Let's go ahead and take a look at that now. Coming off a win. Let's go ahead and give you 3 more fights, young man. All right. Michael Venom Page has been booked. Cool. Joanna Jędrzejczyk bigotry. Uh-oh. Joanna Jędrzejczyk is at the eye of social media storm today after posting racist comments that have led to a huge backlash, especially from the Middle Eastern community at which they were aimed. The offending comments have since been removed, but that has done little to dampen the heat that is now on the 32-year-old Polish fighter. Uh-oh. Joanna was racist towards the Middle Easterns. Her popularity must have gone down from that. Where's name value? Oof. Yeah, it definitely did not help her. All right. Is there anyone that we need to take a look at as far as negotiations? Not you. Not you. It doesn't look like it. Alright, so after this Bellator card, Curtis Millender versus Douglas Lima. Okay. Alright, as a reminder, our next fight night is going to be Volkan Oezdemir taking on Alexander Gustafsson. That's going to be our fight night in Poland. And then right after that, we are back to another pay-per-view. UFC 252, McGregor versus Gaethje. Main card for that right here, McGregor versus Gaethje, Shevchenko versus Calderwood for the women's flyweight title, Van Zandt versus McCann, Jakashi versus Ray, and Darren Till taking on Jacare Sosa. Big prelims as well, as always. So I think that's actually going to do it for us here in this episode. If you're watching on Twitch, stay tuned because I'm going to go through my big, booking simulation where I book the entire month of October, it looks like. But that's what the Adesanya versus Costa was the other pay-per-view. So yeah, McGregor versus Gaethje, and then Esparza versus Gadella 2. And then immediately after that, Adesanya versus Costa. Also on that fight card in Brazil, Amanda Nunes versus Aspen Ladd for the Bantamweight Championship. Chiesa versus Burns, Choi versus Dawodu, Ferguson versus Poirier, and then Jones versus Blachowicz. But now, we can go ahead and schedule our next month of fight cards. And we're going to do that in just a little bit. So the next time that I see you guys, it will be for Oezdemir versus Gustafsson. So I thank you guys for joining. Stay tuned as we go through all of our booking. And if you're here on Twitch, go ahead and stay right here. AZFlower21 is the channel name. Be sure to like and subscribe. Be sure to click on the little bell on the page so that way you guys get notifications whenever my videos get uploaded. As always, I thank you. Hope you enjoy the pay-per-view. And I'll see you guys next time.